Hello guys! It's been a while since I made my last tutorial. I think it's been 6 months. Yeah, it was my lightsaber tutorial. But now I'm gonna make another one. Yeah, it's obviously the Harry Potter effect. So I'm just gonna show you here what we're gonna do. Yeah, something like this. And in my original example, I used a third-party plugin called Trapcode Particular, but I think some of you don't have this plugin, so this example here I did it with everything that you originally have in After Effects, so you don't have to buy anything else. Okay, so let's get started. So to do the effect, first you'll go to layer, add a new solid, a white solid, make it the composition size, press OK, and shut it off for the moment. And we're just gonna go where you cast your spell, right here. This is the frame before the stroke actually starts to come out of the wand. So we're gonna just gonna set the start for this layer to this frame. So we're gonna take the pen tool and just gonna draw a quick mask, like an uneven line. Yeah, like this. Looks good. And press MM, set a keyframe for the mask path. We're gonna move the whole thing for a couple of frames. Wait, what's it doing? It's annoying. It's annoying. Okay. So this looks good. Okay, now we're gonna go to Effect, Generate, Stroke. Set the paint style to untransparent, the brush size to 7, and we're gonna turn this on. And now the frame right here, before the stroke actually starts to come out of the wand, we're gonna set the end to 0%. We're gonna move 4 frames and put this all the way up to 100. So this create the base effect. Okay, now we're gonna create the flare that is right there. So to do this, we have to make a new solid, a black solid, and it has to be a big square. For me it's 2000 by 2000. Okay, so you can see it's a little wider than the composition size and it makes a big square. We're gonna select it and go to Layer, Pre-Compose. Create a new composition. We're gonna call this Flare. We're gonna go inside the comp and duplicate. And now we're gonna go to Effect, Generate, Lens Flare to have a lens flare, and we're gonna put the flare center in the center of the comp. So it's 1000 by 1000. We're gonna change the type to 105mm prime. The brightness we're gonna turn down to 992, and we're gonna create an elliptical mask. So if you don't see it, just select it right here and double click, it creates a big mask, and we're gonna change the mask feather to 115 and the mask expansion to negative 136. And now what we need to do is go to Effect, Color Correction, Tint to make this black and white. Okay, now back in our original comp, we put this to screen. We position it, we press P for the position, and you just change the position. Okay, we're just gonna cut it right here, and to cut it, just go to Edit, and Split Layer. You can see here the shortcut. Okay, now we're gonna do the keyframe forward, and now just sort of guess where the flare would be, like the space right here between the frames, until the layer fully crosses the composition's frame, like this. Okay, now we're gonna cut it again. Oh, we're gonna cut it, and yeah. Okay, now just press T for the opacity. Here, just a little bit. The first frame where the wand is blurry because of the motion. Just put this to like 50 or so. Set a keyframe and then move just one frame, put it 100%. You can also play with the size, but just that's up to you. Okay, now we have created this flare. Okay, before we start to do this shockwave thing right here, we are gonna do a couple of adjustments. Okay, we need to create a new solid, same composition size. Doesn't really matter the color. And I'm gonna shut it off. And we need to go to Effect, Transition, Linear Wipe. And the transition completion, we have to put it like at the base of the wand. And blur it, and we don't really want to see the tip really sharp. We want it to be a little blurry, like this. Okay, can move this a little bit. Okay, now we need to put this to alpha matte and set a keyframe for the transition completion and move a couple of frames and put it all the way to 100%. So now the stroke is gonna gradually disappear. Also, you can play around so we don't see the tip, the base of the stroke, like move away from the wand, just to hide this. Okay, now we're gonna take these two layers, go to Layer, Pre-Compose, and call this Stroke. Okay, now we can duplicate the layer, go to Effect, Distort, Turbulent Displace, and set the size to like 8. We can move it. Probably 7. Just to give some more details. We can apply a slight blur so it's not as sharp, but that's up to you. Okay, now we can duplicate this and delete this double in this place and blur this a little bit more, probably 20, and duplicate this, blur this a lot more, duplicate it, just to give a glow. Okay, this is looking good. Okay, now we're ready to do the shockwave thing. So we go to layer, new solid, create a black solid, composition size, and okay, now we shut it off. We go to effect, simulation, CC, particle world. Okay, we can shut off the grid and click the producer, the position X and Y. We drag it right there. We can shut off the flare so we can see the tip of the blade. Just a couple of frames. Okay, this will do the job. Now onto the first frame. This is the first frame where the flare is fully the opacity is at 100%. Like this one is at like 50. This one is 100. Okay, now the first frame, click on the birth rate all the way up to 0. Move 2 frames, put it to 30. Now 1 frame to 0 again. To just sort of create something that happened and then go away. Now we need to change a couple of things. The velocity is 0.3, so it's not too big. The gravity all the way up to 0, and then in the particle change the type from line to faded sphere and the color to white. The bird size 0.3 and the dead size to 0.2. Okay, the size variation to 63%. Or you can change this like how you'd like it to appear, but that's just the basic. Okay, now we can go and modify this a little bit. Okay, turbo in this place. Okay. This is really customizable. I just do it the way I like it. So you alt click for the expression time. I'm just typing with one hand. Okay. Now we're gonna apply a vector blur. Blur and sharpen, CC vector blur, all the way up to 6. It gives a real nice effect. And another turbulent displace. Distort turbulent displace. This one, the amount all the way up to 100, and the size a little smaller, just 6, just to give some little details. And to finish, a fast blur. Oh, and something I forgot to change was the longevity. Okay, this looks a lot better. So we can change this. No, not changes. I mean, we can go pre-compose it, make this okay, and oh, I forgot to move all attributes. Shockwave. Okay, now we can duplicate it. Fast blur, apply a fast blur, duplicate it. This is really up to you how you want it to look. You can change the opacity. Okay, this will probably do the job. Oh, and something I like to put is on the flare also a slight blur, so it's not as sharp. Make sure you don't repeat edge pixels. Okay, maybe 10 because it's pretty high resolution, but okay, this will be okay. Now we'll do ramp preview. Okay, this is looking good. Also in the Shockwave, you can go and change whenever you want. I'm just gonna change the velocity like 0.4 so it moves a little faster, and no, keep it at 0.3. Okay, now to create like the color, you create a new solid, make it black right at the bottom, and then you pre-compose. Okay, move all attributes, screen. Okay, now we go to color correction, curves. And like I mentioned in my After Effects tutorial. I like the curve better. Oh, it's yellow. I like the curve better because it's a little bit more customizable. Well, in my opinion. Like you can go in the RGB and change the brightness of the glow, the contrast. It's really good. Oh, it's a little bit yellow. Okay, now it looks good. And to do the sort of light cast, so lights appear on on the environment around, you duplicate this layer, you go to Effect, Color Correction, Hue and Saturation, you colorize. It's already red, just bump up this saturation and classic color. Okay, we're just gonna create some mask. Like, this is the part where you can be really tedious. Okay. And also probably don't want to put it on the add like screen. And no, change color dodge. This is really up to you. Now we move on. Like the point where it's the brightest. It's probably just, I don't know. We'll put it right here and change this to 100%. And then 0. And then 0 again. So it's 0%, go all the way up to 100, and it fades away. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you how to create some camera shake. So you take all of this, you pre-compose it, move all attributes, and we'll call this final comp. And we can go to Effect, Expression Control, excuse me, Slider Control, and go P for the position. We Alt click. We see here in the wiggler some options. So it's like the expression is like the wiggler, but a little bit more advanced. So now we're gonna type one value here. This is the first value, is how many times you want the video to wiggle in one frame. Oh, in like the frequency, and the other value is the magnitude, so how much distortion. So for this one, you parent this value here and another parentheses. Okay, so you all only control with this value here. Now we're gonna do for the, like we did for the lighting. Okay, 0. We can double click and see the keyframes. We're gonna do a RAM preview. Okay, that's a little bit too much, so maybe we'll try 15. And to get rid of the black mark problem, just scaled up a little bit, and you put the effect under stylize. It's called motion tile. So you mirror edges and you increase this value a little bit. I like to scale up a little bit because it hides the mirror that does this effect. My computer is slow, you see it loading. So that's basically it. Yeah, tutorial is finished. So if you have any questions, just ask me in the comments. I'll try to respond to you and give you good answers. And also please subscribe to support me making more of these videos. And if you can, please donate so I can have like better equipment. Like I'm saving right now for a new computer, so I'll make more advanced stuff that right now I cannot do because my computer is not powerful enough. So please watch out my other videos. So bye.